teams.
So there we have it. Finesse saying Cloud9 play very strongly against us online and obviously here at LAN as well. So when now we go into cash, what are your initial thoughts on this map in particular?
I've kind of alluded to it, the playstyles and the retakes, and I think Cloud9 can exploit a lot of that. I'm seeing more encouragement from the rifling from Stewie in the last game, especially. It was a little bit more aggressive. You touched on automatic. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of already said everything, James. I'm running out here. I'm reaching for it, so I'm gonna let Jason talk.
Yeah, okay, go
All
for
right, cool. Glad we agree on that one.
No, this map is going to be super dangerous because I mean it's going to lend itself to both of the playstyles. I always talk about this is a very a map that lends itself to pretty much any kind of style you want to play. There's a lot of different options you have on it, but I mean the big thing that even FNS just referenced in the interview is that Brazilian teams with their ability to play make at every position, every role in the team, all 5 players can do it. This is a map where you don't necessarily need to have that deep of playmaking. You already, if you're Cloud9, you have your Stewie and your automatic. You have guys who can go through the entries. You don't have to worry about someone on the other side of the map making plays because you can blow up through a smoke with one pop flash at either bomb site, and that can be just an effective strategy. It can be very simple, or it can be as complex as you'd like. That's why a lot of teams struggle, especially on the CT sides, is because there's a variety of tactics that work very well. A map like we just saw on Train and on Inferno, if utility is dropped into the choke points, sometimes it can be very hard to have success with fast-paced rush strategies that Cloud9 likes to do. But on a map like Cash, even if there's utility, you could still go right through it. Things can still be effective no matter what's happening on the map.
And Finesse mentioned there about the flexibility with the AWP. How important will that be on Cash?
Huge.
With Ricky.
Yeah, it's massive, and we saw a little bit of it. They used the double up setup quite a bit. They were also pretty mobile on Cash with the AWP. We saw a 1-3-1 at one point. We saw like Ricky when Ricky and Yale both played at Sandbags a couple times. I mean, pretty much every location on this map, mid, A, and B, can have an AWP be successful in it. Even the door, pushing door. If you get aggressive on A main with an AWP, you have that very deep line that gives you like
did that.
Yeah, maybe one pick, but it just gives you massive information, even if it's not a kill. So many different uses for the AWP.
The one thing I will say is a lot of teams, when they try and do that door push, they mess it up because they don't give support inside of the A side itself. So they'll double push and say, like, oh, I'll support the AWP, I'll play with you, I'll wingman you. Or they'll sit back and say, I'll cover off forklift. You almost need to hold quad or get aggressive at A main as well, because as soon as the opera hits the shot, if they're in A main, you're stuck in there, and it gets very difficult to get out. And a lot of teams, Kusta got away with it because fortunately there was no one inside of A main the round that he pushed, but like you can very easily limit yourself outside of the site there.
Yeah, there's a timing with the smoke that's sometimes up in A main, and if it's gone, you need like a pop flash from your teammate. Otherwise, it's just a big gamble. But or you just keep pushing forward, right? But yeah, no, ops can influence this massively. It's the question of whether Cloud9 is going to be able to, or is going to let CLG have the op. If they get on one of those runs that I keep mentioning, all of a sudden the money just dwindles and it's a snowball, and then the op, it can be so difficult to use because even if you just catch a awkward flashbang at the wrong moment, then they're already on top of you before you can even recover from it. So this can be, I expect we're going to see, like yesterday I would have said I expect we're going to see big T-halves, just because CT sides, especially in NA, are pretty weak at the moment. I would have thought that we would see T-halves run over teams, but I mean both of, or CLG's earlier today just looked abysmal, didn't it? So I mean pretty dicey situation I think for them staring down the barrel of a 2-0.
Yeah, and we will find out right now after a quick commercial break. This is it now for CLG. They are 1-0 down. They lose one more map and they go out of the Americas minor. We will go back to the game very shortly after this commercial break.
What you have released is unlike anything we've ever faced.
What's happening?
You have been selected.
Give in to me. I'm scared.
The Mummy, rated PG-13.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with map 2, and it's Cloud9 versus CLG. I'm here with Chad, and we've had a really good first game. I think we were treated something special there on Inferno.
Yeah.
But it was Cloud9 that ended up winning. So,
yeah.
this map 2, you think we can have CLG come back?
They need playmakers to step up, right? They need people like Ricky. They need people like Kusta. Kusta already had a couple of good rounds, but it wasn't over the entire game itself. If they can step up and they can put in some huge impact, and everybody else just continues what they're doing, like Cutler obviously had a good game before, but it was more of a solid performance, more of a rock performance. If the rocks can continue being hard and the stars can shoot to the sky, we might have a game.
That's some deep Counter-Strike poetry.
Yeah. Did you see Stewie's tweet earlier today about saying the things like, you know, they're going to have no respect and stuff?
I saw that.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of take because what they had yesterday was just, it seemed like they had no respect because they were just running around like headless chooks. I think what they need to do is what they did on Inferno, which is on that T side, have a little bit more structure and then mix up the pace. But they are going to start on the CT side here, which we have seen them have a couple of issues with, especially with that A bomb site. Models knew, or Luminosity, sorry, knew they were going to push those smokes every single time. And Ricky with the Deagle again, he's loving this on the pistol round. I'm not sure if the desk touched on it, but they always seem to put it in his hands.
Yeah, I think it's great. I love it too. Oh, Stewie being flashed in, opening the door. He executes Kuster, and another one comes in. Cutler is down too. Stewie, what an absolute madman. Taking down both those players, and the fact that he was set up with a flash from a teammate, that's such a dirty trick. And now he's actually going to go for more fight. They're trying to boost. Stewie just won't leave them alone.
Just being a bit of a nuisance there, isn't he? He's going to do some damage onto Rick, who's got 48 points of health left, and that Deagle in hand. They've taken back the territory from Squeaky now, so they know they've flushed him out from that aggressive position. And if Ricky wants to go main with this Deagle and take a fight, it kind of evens up the duel. The Deagle versus the USP at long range is a pretty fair fight if you're aiming for the head, that's for sure. Squeaky Door gets open, so they know someone's reoccupied that area of the map.
Ethan taking a bit of highway control. If he stays too long, he risks getting shot in the back. Now he's shown himself, so now it's probably time to go. They're just going to run out of space on the map here to play with. That's a shot to open it up with. Skadoodle goes down. There's that deal we were talking about. Ethan, not really any reason why he would take this fight right now. Just get the bomb down first. He's sort of trapped in between truck and nothing coming up the highway. Another attempt there. Ricky trapped in the corner. Finesse is quite far back. The bomb isn't planted for him. He's going to be going down, and so will Ricky. Shroud with a headshot. Yeah. Cloud9 win the round regardless. That was a round that had a lot of potential for both teams.
Yeah, the thing there in that 2v2 situation at the end was FNS kind of had to pick. The bomb wasn't planted for him. He had to take that fight because Ricky was also pinned on the bomb spot. He couldn't really strafe out anywhere without getting taken down first. So maybe they could have both picked at the same time, forcing out 2 targets. But I can't really say it was that much of a misplay. It's just unfortunate circumstances for CLG to find themselves in that position. Nothing with some really nice shots there, getting them back in the round that almost spiraled out of control.
Yeah, it did. That setup with the flashbang at Squeak Door is so hard to see coming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit dirty. Okay, so what do we got? We got the Deagle on Ethan and a Deagle on Rick, and everyone else has kind of just gone with Glock. So I don't expect a lot to happen in this round. Because they got the plant, they will assumably buy into next.
Yeah, with the bomb plan in that first round, you've got to think that's what's coming. Maybe if they were lucky with the Deagle here, they could find a quick peek on someone. I think they had a boost going on in main, but that got cancelled very quickly by that one grenade from Skadoodle. And now I think this is just where Cloud9 can play it really safely. Like they've already done the damage, and there's almost no way they're going to get everyone out of Squeak here. Yeah,
they don't really need to push or anything. There goes Ethan, trying to one-way that smoke there on the left side of main. He'll go down to Stewie, farming up some cash with that UMP. And the last 3 members are stuck in the door, so you can't really expect a lot to come out from these guys. The only thing they have is Rick's Deagle, which they don't need to face it. They have to let them out the door. There's no point taking that fight.
But it almost feels like Stewie's growing restless, you know, like it's getting to him that he can't do anything on this bomb side right now.
I'm more than happy if he is the only one to kind of be like this, right? Automatic can do that to some sense, but I think Stewie just needs to be that X factor, the guy who's constantly all over the map, making himself difficult to deal with, and then everyone else on the team just needs to be in those multi-frag rock positions. He's about to find a few kills here. 1, 2, 3.
Well, and that's just very nicely done. 4 kills with the UMP in that round gives him a lot of money to work with, almost 6,000 here.
So we saw the tempo from CLG relatively slow. You know, they like to the default. I would like to see them go fast. The issue is they're going up against 4 UMPs that are most likely going to play relatively close in the choke points, making it more difficult. So It's a weird one because I need CLG to show me something, show that they have more than the defaults to mid-round decisions. I need to see a bit of flair come out of their T side, and it's not really the best place to start when you know you're going up against all these umps. And it looks like they're going straight towards A. 3 squeaky door, 2A main, relatively quick. They might just do a bit of an explosion strategy here.
Flashbang does absolutely nothing to slow them down. Stewie's been moving up as well towards the forklifter. You're right, he's trying to play close, but because no one is here, they're all in middle, this could get really rough over the A side. He's fallen back now and making a lot of noise, and they are just going to explode out the automatic. Boosted up, he comes running with the UMP and catches FNS. Stewie's gone down in the meantime. Flashbang attempt there, but Ethan a little bit too quick for it, and going to win the spray fight with the AK. Falls back towards the forklift, and this is all going exactly according to plan if you're CLG. Reload, actually the smoke fades. He can't really hide behind that. That was a slight miscalculation there. They're boosted in the back line, and Shroud will pick up one, goes for the second, and the FAMAS works. And Kusta, he's got no way out. And they win the round anyway, Cloud9. What went wrong for CLG? They had the man advantage, and the bomb down, it looked like they had things under control for all of like 3 seconds.
Yeah, losing that A main control renders that boost completely useless in that situation. Maybe they needed to be a little bit more aggressive to the truck and highway players once they had known that they didn't have control of that part of the map anymore. Just standing still, getting picked off one at a time. CT swarming them, getting that defuse, and now 3 AKs in their hands. Another nice buy going to be coming their way. Cloud9 looking good.
I mean, if that smoke towards highway hadn't faded, then Ethan probably would have stayed alive, or at least someone could have helped him.
Yep.
It just felt like it all crumbled when he went down. The rest were just locked on the bomb
They
side.
had too many people in the side, I think, Anders. Maybe 2 people max in there would be nice, and then you can have 3 people scattered around forklift, A main, maybe squeaky door if you really want someone on the flank would also be perfect. But I think the strategy itself was quite good. They were able to get onto the side. It was just Cloud9 too good on that retake. Stewie once again with A main aggression, pushing them back, gets a lot of information for his team. This is great, you know. It's just Stewie going aggressive on his own. I don't want him to give away a gun here, but he's doing what he does best, which is just trying to frag out these terrorists.
It makes it very hard for the CLG team to be very effective, though. Finesse somehow finds him and runs him down. Aggressive with the Tech-9 in the middle. Automatic will make up for it with just a few kills there. And the timing is so good. Cutler was just looking for that position, but he just decided to give up and try and make his way out Squeak, so that's unfortunate. Ricky and Finesse, I don't think they can even save the rifle here.
No, they just need to go for frags, try and get a bit of damage, maybe play for confidence right now by seeing you can get some frags early, especially for Rick. But there's not a lot they can do. 1 HP on Finesse now, 4 CT stand between him and a bomb site, so wherever he goes, 1 bullet in the toe, and he'll fall.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
It's
is that a song?
I think it's like I don't know what it is. It's just a line that I've heard throughout my life. That probably someone knows and is tweeting me this very second.
The best questions.
A bit of like Buddhist philosophy or something, I think.
Is it the best questions? Questions? Was that what Matt said?
Yeah, that's deep. There was more philosophy coming out. So we did. I think Moses said people will with small shoes generally have small feet.
And probably small socks.
And probably small socks too. Sure. That's. I think you should keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure. All right, AWP in the hands of Kusta. They're going straight for a bit of a B pick here. Not good. Not doing the normal routine that we've been talking about with the smoke and the Molotov to push anyone off checkers. He's just going straight in, looking for a frag. That's gonna hurt.
I'm impressed that he's just scoped up this close. I realize he's got a bodyguard here, but this can go wrong 100 different ways, or it can go right. Taking down Shroud. I still maintain that's a really high-risk decision, but if it works, then it's not stupid. Cutler will get automatic kill as well. That was in the vent. Stewie comes charging in. What is this absolute madness? Why would anyone do this?
You love to see it right there. Stewie just going super aggressive, taking one down on the boost spot, and now, you know, he's brought one back for Cloud9, but I think that adjustment with the AWP walking into B-end is...
Yes, yes, he's going to go for the wallbang.
Does he know it?
Yeah. Oh. No, he missed by just an inch.
Wouldn't that have been something special?
I would have been happy. I would have been very excited.
I think Kusta walking into B is because Cloud9 ran a very similar gun round setup to what they did early on, like when they've been playing this map across the board at this event, which is, you know, in the vents and people rooted in that B site. And the A attack's on while I'm speaking, and Kusta's going to find another one completely flashed.
Unbelievable. Stewie has been hyper-aggressive all over this map now. The bomb has gone down, so he's got FNS locked in this corner. Can anyone help him out? Not Kusta. He goes down to Stewie. Stewie might just win this round all on his own at this rate. Ricky's already shown himself, so Stewie knows more or less where he is. He's just dodging him by a second there. Going to be standing up, and Ricky actually completely outplays him. That's some great positional play. And nothing is now on the bomb site. He's going to tap the bomb once. They know where he is. Bomb is not really planted for Ricky, but he's got to be careful. And FNS shutting him down. That's a round for CLG. How much of that was intentional for Ricky? Because it almost, for a second, looked like he fired the gun and then walked out.
Yeah.
Just to dodge him, but that was very good. It obviously threw Stewie completely off.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much it was, you know, he knew where Stewie was coming from in that kind of situation, but well played, put himself behind the smoke, was able to play around it nicely. Something to note there, we saw it happen again. I know you mentioned the other day, Anders, you know, someone planting without any cover. FNS did it again, and someone could have just snuck up into the site and fragged him. Kusta knew that was a possibility after the bomb went down and tried to assist him so he could get out of that situation, which almost, you know, force Kusta to die. So I think FNS maybe needs to wait up a little bit next time to get a teammate in a more, I guess, forward position to cover him when that bomb goes down, or just do it on his own and use those flashbangs to try and get out of there on his own merit.
It's absolutely a big risk, and we've seen many rounds fall apart just because of it. I mean, even that was the default plant, but especially when people go for the open one, it gets really dangerous. A lot of wallbang attempts coming out in the middle from Stewie. I think this is one of the big charms of this map. It's just how much is possible, and I think maybe even more than people sometimes realize. Obviously now it's become so evident because of the body wallbang. Yeah. I'd be surprised if we don't see that at some point here. No luck at all for Kusta. Gonna have to fall back based on that Molotov. And that's down to 50 seconds without really much map control being in the hands of CLG.
Yeah, I like the fact that Cloud9 are playing retake here. They had so many issues playing close to those smokes. It looks like they've had an adjustment of how they want to hold their CT bomb sites. So maybe this is what they need to get a better half under their belt.
Well, it's the classic smokes going up towards the railing and also obviously down by the forklift. Finesse again going for the default plan. I'm not necessarily a big fan. That Molotov, though, going to do a bit of damage, so many has to fall back right away. But that means the main and Squeak players are going to be in a bit of a weird position if the retake actually happens. Kusta with a great shot taking down nothing now. Defense is looking much better. Shroud somehow wins the fight against Ricky. It looked like he was just stumbling up the stairs then, but it still works out. Oh my god! Stewie, how can it be real? He turns around, he gets the kill on FNS. Impossible! And now Cutler's gone down. What a madman. Stewie.
Someone with a kit get on that bomb. Stewie just going nuts. What is that? Jumping down onto forklift, finding a no-scope into A main. We didn't see the kill, but I assume it was huge because he had his back turned to the player. These are the plays that Cloud9 need to be making if they want to make it into the grand final and take the victory away from Immortals. They're looking hot at the moment. Oh! Oh.
I'm lost for words.
See, the thing is, here's the issue that I have, and this is amazing that they're doing this, and Stewie is the one that is continuously doing it. But when he doesn't, when he can't, what does Cloud9 have?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point.
Like, it looks good, it's great. I'm not taking anything away from them right now. I'm just saying, like, in terms of structure and stuff, they're not really relying on this because they're winning the rounds with not ease, but they're making it look easy. If they don't have him getting those kills, what can they do? Where can they go? And that's a scary thing for Cloud9 because against the Immortals, they didn't really have any answers.
It's just such an unreasonable way to play the game. What worries me is that I may be on a matchmaking team with someone one day who's just going to be like, well, I saw Stewie do it. So I'll just jump off the railing and onto the forklift and shoot someone holding close.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Sometimes you need to take those risky plays, right? There are certain scenarios when that has to happen because that's the only way the round will get won. If both teams, play the round fundamentally perfect, then obviously depending on bomb sites and situations, the one that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to come through as the victor. But what you'd consider Stewie doing is a risk, which, could be labeled as a mistake. But when it pays off time and time again, you have to start questioning the game that we play and how we can get away with it more so.
It's certainly entertaining, unless you're on the CLG side. Then I'm guessing you're not enjoying it all that much.
Yeah.
He's got 12 kills and just 4 deaths here.
That's nice.
So he's doing a I would say, a remarkable job at the moment. In fact, he's almost just 2 more kills, and he's got as many kills as the whole of CLG combined. So
that's not too bad at all, is it? I like the adjustments we're seeing out of the CT side from Cloud9. It doesn't look as static. They're being a lot more dynamic, moving players around. They've adjusted some setups, so they've definitely done some work overnight on this map in their CT side, and I think that's what CLG wanted to take advantage of. They're not getting a chance to do so. It's Stewie now. He's over at that B side. He's going to grab one early.
Oh, still alive. No scope comes in. He got way more than he should have, but they get Shroud in return. Cutler and Ricky. This has been a really hard first half. It's kind of time to step it up, but they don't even get the full force onto the bomb site, so Cutler is just alone here. 1 on 3. They have every grenade they could want. I mean, should they just wait, lock him on the bomb site, and then
they can all just run it. They could all just run at him together if they don't even want him to get the plan right. They're all relatively close.
Oh my god, that's a lot of Molotovs.
Yeah, like in that situation, if everybody's closing in and they know where their teammates are, you can open up as many angles to take him down as possible and not give up too many 1v1 situations.
Okay, he gets the first kill, but how did they not clear him out after this?
Yeah, I guess the frags, they're just not going in the favor of CLG. Ethan should have made that one any day of the week, right? I know that sometimes the looking down, looking up frags can be a bit more difficult, but he has that AK. He should have nailed that one. The issue is, at this point in the game, CLG have stabilized on the first map. Starting very slow again, and it doesn't look like they're close to stabilizing at all. They don't have a rhythm. They don't have an approach to the game that appears to be even close to working, so I'm not sure how we're going to see them adjust. Maybe go for some mid control. Maybe get some early mid control happening. It's always my go-to.
We'll see if they're going to be able to do it this time. Of course, they're just down pistols and a couple of kills here. Anywhere would be good. Stewie is all over this map, isn't he? Like, he's just hyper aggressive. Like, does that cause trouble for CLG, just the fact that they don't really know where he's going to be holding the next round?
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing that you can do on this map. A lot of AWPers, especially ones who know how they want to approach situations, Device comes to mind as a good example. They make it so hard for the Ts to know how to play against it, because if he's pushing Squeaky, he's pushing A main. Next round he's in middle, then he's AWPing aggressively B. It's like, well, we want to try and avoid him, or we didn't want to use so much utility on this part of the map, and it becomes just a question: how defensive can we play, and how long can we wait? And he just seems to be making all the right reads, all the right plays. He's always in the right position. He's a handful right now, that's for sure.
All the right reads and all the right places. Sort of feels like a song, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Double AWP still in play here on the Cloud9 side. 8-1 the scoreline. They've won the first map. The second map is going really heavily in their favor right now, and a lot of it is because of Stewie. We'll see what CLG can do. You were saying maybe some mid-control. Maybe just trying for something that is pretty fundamental to this map, so we'll see if they're going to be able to do it or not.
Look at this. They're still being extremely aggressive at Cloud9. They have 3 players over towards B, ready to go aggressive. Scudo gets blind. Still going to find a frag. I have no idea. On our screen, it looked like he was completely white.
Yes. And the temptation when you get that flashbang right in your face is to count to 2 and shoot, right? But he actually waited with that shot and took it, I think, just maybe as the flash was wearing off.
It must have been. Because he did flick to the right a little bit, right? He did move his crosshair, so he must have been able to see where that was coming from. And this right here, it's like, they're like, what's going on? CLG, they had a plan. They lose a man early, 4v5 situation, and they haven't actually taken any part of the map. For as all they know, A main could be completely under the control of Cloud9. Squeaky door, they could have someone in there. Could be a player on the boost waiting. They have no information. They have no idea.
They're going to try and go onto the bomb site here, but there are 2 people holding on it, and they have plenty of grenades to try and keep them back. Now the Molotovs are raining in to back checkered as well. Nothing holding at the first box. I don't think this will be easy for CLG. They've already lost the bomb, so now the rotation is going to happen. Shroud with a headshot on Ethan. And Kusta and Cutler fighting to try and make something work. Just anything at this point that can get them onto a site and get a bomb plant. At least that has to be accomplished, and it just won't.
You see that phase as they're going in through checker and then trying to enter into the bomb site. You have to keep your head on a swivel versus Cloud9, because they're just relentless. The way that they attack you from Vant, they're pushing out Heaven, they're fighting from the site. You need to be looking everywhere, and they're not going to give you any ground. They want to take the jewel. And, CLG are in struggle town right now.
Yeah, this is really tough to even watch at this point. Looks like they might try for a bit of an execute. In fact, we do see a smoke coming out from Ethan. That's all the way back. That's pretty cool from T-Spawn. I wonder exactly where that's going to land. Basically by the container from T-Spawn. That's the one that lands towards either upper or between red and forklift. So really interesting.
I guess that's the force of rotation, and they've already made it onto the site, but they don't have the bomb to plant. So the player playing retake will know that there's no plant coming in here. But aggression comes out from middle from automatic. He will go down to Ethan, and they finally get a gun. So the B bomb site could be taken for free right now.
They don't know it yet, and they've waited long enough now that Shroud is starting to rotate back in. They may have sort of missed their window of opportunity here. And they got more than a minute left, but now Skadoodle's going to find a kill, and they're going to start to realize there's nothing else really happening on this side of the map. Shroud, he saw that leg sticking through the smoke. He's going to get the one, goes for the full spray, and now he's got backup as well right behind him. Nothing comes charging out of the vent. He does go down to Ricky. Stewie, I get scared. I get worried that he's going to hit that shot, but not this time, no. 3-on-3 for the retake.
Well. Yeah, Molotov in hand here. This should be easy. Does it, use it on the site, make a bit of a distraction, then Skadoodle can come through the vent late. Shouldn't be too difficult for Cloud9 here.
He's ready with a flashbang as well. Time is ticking away. The grenade, sorry, and that's a really good flashbang, but actually Ethan does need the second one, so he can see if Skadoodle tries to come through. There's the shot from Ricky as well. And Skadoodle might as well run away. CLG, they finally make it work. They finally put a round together, and it was, I mean, it was a pretty impressive fake.
Yeah.
That smoke from T-Spawn is really cool.
I gotta bite my tongue, you know, something I said was super easy and it turns out to go completely against them, and Skadoodle won't even be able to save that AWP. As they're gonna get 2 up on the T side right now, so they can throw one of them over to Ricky, and you're gonna have the Ricky Kusta AWP combo potentially going up against the Stewie Skadoodle AWP combo.
Yeah. No one with the body wall bang. It's disappointing.
Oh, we've only got one on the side of Cloud9 here, so let's see how they adjust. That was just, you know, automatic getting a bit overzealous in middle push and giving away a gun, and then they were lucky they could capitalize on that B site and play good post-plant positions. That's something that teams, you know, don't really realize. You need to make sure you have those predetermined, or at least the ideal setups in those kind of situations. You don't want to be running around on the fly. But, you know, CLG, they're still up shit creek without a paddle right now, and I don't know how they're going to get out of this mess. Even if they turn this around and make it a 9-6, it just feels like it's too little too late. Cloud9, they just look like they know what they want to do. They have a game plan and they're sticking to it.
Yeah, I think this is the only chance they have to convert this first half into somewhat of a victory. Like, if they lose this round now, then
that's it.
You can't keep believing that you can make this work. It's kind of now or never.
Yeah, I would definitely think that Cloud9 will take it if they don't convert this one. Like you're saying, it's almost a must in this scenario. We did see them have a comeback before, but they just don't look like the same CLG. I think maybe those drawn-out games, Anders, they could have taken it out of them, right? Because they were quite elongated. The fact that there was comebacks, there was reverse sweeps happening, all that kind of stuff means more rounds, a bit more energy being expended, and now we're not seeing anything convincing out of these guys at all. Looks like they want to go towards that B side again.
I think that was a medium throw smoke, or flashbang. That was on the corner there. I kind of like that. Yes, you're right. They are going to go straight for it. That's an opening frag if I've seen one, Ethan. Taking a quick kill there on Shroud. Now they need to break the crossfire and nothing goes down. The bomb out in the open for a little bit here. Got to be careful that automatic doesn't take someone with him. They've got another 3-on-3 and a very winnable one. There's a huge flank coming in from Stewie, and he's going to be there maybe a bit later than they're expecting. So CLG got to be careful they don't give up on the idea that someone could be there, but that's a great, probably a winning move for Cutler there. Taking down automatic, leaving Skadoodle in a really weird position, and if he walks in, he's going to get off. Stewie taking one, goes for a quick Molotov, but this 1v2 not going to be possible. Ricky will take him down for the triple. First time we've seen Ricky do anything in a while here.
Yeah, well, he's top fragging right now, which is not really saying much because Kusta has 6 frags, Ethan has 6 frags, Cutler with 5, and FNS with only 4. So, you know, they're getting along, they're chugging along, and if they can convert this one, then the money situation for Cloud9 is going to be well and truly in the bin, and the conversion to the 9-6 is looking possible at that point. Let's see if they go for something slow again. That seems to be their go-to, you know, sit back, wait out utility, have an execute in mind. Mid-control coming out from Cloud9 here. They've got 3 players pushing up. Oh, no.
Wow, that's just unfortunate. We talked about this earlier, how much you rely on that Molotov to really keep everybody back. And I mean, sometimes if it's, especially if it's an AWPer that's boosted up there, they'll stand in it for an extra second just to try and catch anyone waddling about down on the middle of the map.
It's not a bad play, right? Like I think that's something that's definitely. Yeah, how did that put that out?
I don't know.
Normally you're throwing it directly at the smoke and it doesn't put it out. And in that situation, oh, look at him fall like dominoes right now. Nothing's going well for Cloud9 in this round. As frags being made all across the map, and this is good by CLG. They're just waiting for any more aggression to come out from the guys of Cloud9 before they go for a bomb site. So everyone's just sitting, waiting, hoping that they walk into the trap.
Very unlucky if they would sort of stomp into that. The bomb is fairly close in the middle, so I mean that could be the first part of it here. The Shroud is so low on health. I don't think this is a particularly winnable scenario, though. Stewie, timing is pretty good. At least gets a kill, but the bomb is making its way to the other side. So even if they pick up this frag on Cutler, who's on the A bomb side, which they may well do, they're going to be so far away that it should be no issue at all.
He's going to get them both in the back here, surely. 1, 2.
Wow.
Easy as that for Cutler. Okay, now we're on. Now we should probably see an eco come out from the Cloud9 guys. 2.4, 2.7. The money's not looking fantastic for them on that side.
And a timeout. Yeah,
so good decision. You don't want to lose this half too badly. You don't want to let them convert all those rounds in a row. If you can just grab one, get yourself to that 10, you'll still be feeling a little bit confident. I want to talk about some theory here, Anders. I was thinking,
go on.
You know how the BX cutes come in? If a team likes to do the one from the smoke from Checkers, not Checkers, from Sunroom, that covers off CT. What if you were a CT who was just playing at the lower section near the tree and you just held a Molotov out? When the smoke came, you threw the Molotov and then it would put out and then they would all come running in expecting it to be smoked and you just mow them down because you have the advantage of standing behind the Molotov as well.
Yeah, you could do that. This is something that there are actually a lot of maps I think where you can do this on. All you need basically is for the smoke to bounce down and jump into different places. It's something that I've openly discussed in one of the videos. So I would agree with that. I actually had not thought about that one, but that could be interesting. It's worth testing, worth timing it.
Also to note, Stewie's cooled off a little bit. He's still top fragging, but without his impact, CLG have found a way back into this game.
Yeah.
Oop, be interesting to see where he has gone down. Let me just quickly, while we're waiting for this eco to unfold, see if I can find out in what point of the round Stewie's died and seen how little of an impact he's had. So, in the last couple of rounds that have come in, he's died towards the end of the pack most times. So he just hasn't been there when the initial exchange is going on.
I have to know, did Ricky see them jump into Sunroom? Like, they just run boost over to jump in, and I don't know if Ricky saw that. If he didn't, then, I mean, it might not have any impact at all in this round unless they end up in B, but if they don't, then, like, imagine if they go towards B now and buy Sunroom, and nothing shoots them in the back, they're going to call Ricky and say, what the hell is going on? And looks like they're going to make their way up here, but still, what a there it is. Ricky gets the kill on nothing anyway, so maybe we could see that on the. I would love to know if he could see the jump by there.
He's probably killed nothing, pushed up in that forward position and gone, how the hell did he get there?
Yeah, like what's going on? That's extraordinarily strange. CLG, they are going to be able to pick up the round 9-5 here. The 15th round coming up after what was at some point just an overwhelming victory. What was it, 9-1 at some point in favor of Cloud9, and now they've just won 4 rounds in a row.
They were running away with it. I thought this one was all over. CLG looked like they had packed their bags ready to go home, but they've turned it around here. These boys are grinders. They're happy to grind this one out. I don't know if they're on the app, but they're definitely giving it a good shot right now.
I always love it when AWPers have the guts to try and go for that slight bunny jump to get in there.
Yeah.
Get there a second quicker, and I mean, it really is all it takes in that position.
What? Skadoodle just does like a bit of a 360 there before jumping to pick into A main off the back of that flash. Gets a lot of information and control now, and he had a player close to him to clear out the box, which was Stewie, and with him in lockers, that means it's going to be locked down.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, that's a good little play on words there. Kusta.
This pace is the bread and butter for CLG, right? Like, they just love this kind of style.
And you were asking for mid control for a while.
I did. I wanted pace, but the fact that they've got back into it off this style, hey, power to you. I think like on Inferno, if they had something more aggressive, something quicker paced, they might have been able to get the game. It's a facet that you need to have.
They are going for it. Defying some of those smokes, maybe. Nothing. Can't transfer the spray, and actually Finesse getting both the frags, and he's going to go for the default plant. We'll officially name this the default now. Everyone does this.
We called it the pod plant because we called it the spot where you could see the diffuse from pod. But I'm happy to call it the default plant because that's where everyone should plant. And if we call it the default, then that will be the go-to.
I like it. Automatic gets taken down as well. It's the final round here for the first half, so Stewie and Skadoodle just have to try and see if they can make it work. Stewie's gone down, and Skadoodle next in line. 9-6. Honestly, well done, CLG, sticking in this first half. I think that's pretty impressive and not easy to do. And look at how close they are all on the scoreboard. 9, 9, 9, 8, and 8.
It's usually a team effort for these guys when they're pulling through in the situations like this. So good to see they can continue through and stay composed, right? When you're 9-1 down, it's very easy to let things fall apart, and that just spirals out of control. Maybe it's a 12-3 half, and that's GG from that point. But they always look in it. And that's a nice professional approach there. On the other side of things, Cloud9 are going to be feeling pretty down, you know, losing that massive lead, and now we have a competitive game. Stewie, like I said, cooled off a little bit. Who's going to step up to the plate and help him?
Yeah, just give him, he's had a bit of a breather. Maybe he can start doing a bit more here in the second half, but certainly, regardless of whether he does or not, he's going to need some sort of backup towards the top of the scoreboard there. 16th round is coming up, and we do have just a smoke there for Skadoodle. If you're trying to get out A main and you don't throw that smoke towards Fork, it can get really rough. But it is a retake on the A bomb side for CLG.
It's very similar to a pistol Cloud9 have already done, right? And this is a question that I have. How many strats can teams possibly have dry run ready and raring to go with all the theory done? Because they're playing so many matches nowadays, it's always difficult to come up with inspiration. And in the current meta with the teams you're versing, it's hard to stay fresh. So they may be just changing the pace of this execute because it does look very similar.
Crawling, creeping towards the A-bomb site. CLG, happy to let them have it. Maybe hoping for a frag or two before the retake really happens, but they feel like they can do it if it really is time for it. That smoke goes up towards Fork like I was talking about, and now they're going to go for the bomb plant, and there is some coverage a little bit there.
He's got a teammate at least, holding his hand.
Yeah. That's the least we can ask for in that kind of scenario.
This is where it becomes about how do you play the after plant position as the Ts, right? You want to force them in close range with those Glocks, and it looks like that's what they want to do. So the CTs have to push in all the way into Glock range.
Ticking, it's getting risky now for CLG, but Cutler is there. Coaster opening up as well. Stewie, he takes one, and Ethan's also got a frag in the meantime. They're running out of players on the Cloud9 side, and now it's all Skadoodle there defusing, but he has the one person holding the kit. Skadoodle going more, headshot coming in, and Skadoodle, he's going to get every single one. The quad kill happens, and Cloud9 wins the round.
He has been insane this whole event at those situations where you would always, in the past, rule him out. And he's gone with weapons that, you know, should never win in situations, winning 1v4s, 1v5s, making it very difficult, breaking the economy of teams. He's just done it again. That was
look at how he's dancing, Cutler, trying to avoid it. That was a drive-by, the first one. He just didn't stop moving. And out of the 4 players that were there, he tagged the one guy in the face that was defusing. Jeez. And they were really trying to bodyguard him, you know?
Yeah. The thing is, they didn't... Okay, obviously it's a situation where you don't want him to just constantly jiggle peek from A main and take pot shots, but they could have just stayed back in the site with the diffuser, more of a meat shield, and just used the range of the USP. Once again, I can't really fault their decision-making to push them because they had the number advantage. But in hindsight, with 2020 like we have right now, maybe they should have just sat back and covered the defuser from afar.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a round that'll stick in your mind for a while.
Man, CLG on a huge comeback. You know, they won that 5 in a row at the end of that half, had the pistol round with a bow on it, and boom, out of the present comes Skadoodle. It's not what you want. I'd want maybe a jet ski.
Yes. I mean, anything. Anything
better than a 4v1.
Yeah, anything basically. Even a pair of socks, I think I would have been preferable to that kind of an end.
Small ones.
Yes, for small feet. FNS does go down, and they're trying their best. Oh, Ethan pulled the trigger, man.
Ooh, it is a one-way.
A little bit of damage has been put in, but still going to be very hard for CLG, I think, to find a way out. And again, just like we discussed earlier, why not just try and save this stuff for the next round, you know?
Yeah, or at least set up so you're able to get as like exits and not go down. Or if you're going to go down, it's going to be even. You don't just want to play close and lose what you have. But Kusta's, he's got a P250, so if he can stay close and he can get himself any weapon of upgrade, it's not too bad. Especially with Cutler baiting for him from CT Spawn there. So now what's he doing? Come on, dude. Oh, I'm just going to cross with the smoke, and I'll wait. But then I'll try and move when the smoke dissipates instead of staying and pushing in behind them and trying to exit them as they leave the bomb site.
Yeah, very reasonable. Glad we're getting like
that's a nice one.
A glimpse into the mind of Chad. You know, just the frustration of silly mistakes.
Like, in the scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. But if they had held on to that, he would have had a P250 this round. He could buy one now, but it'll affect his first gun round.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Look, here's something you could do if you're Cloud9 right now. You know they force water into that. You know that they saved a couple of pistols. What you could do is do like just a full-on set piece. Maybe like an A execute where you just use all those Molotovs to firebomb the site. But it looks like they're going middle. Did they just smoke connector?
They did smoke for the connector.
Oh, never mind, they're not going middle at all.
They are diverting from that plan if it ever was one, and that's one hell of a headshot. Ethan taking down Stewie, getting a bit of a revenge. Second kill, that looked like it should have been. Took automatic down to 29. It was very close indeed, and if I was Cloud9 right now, I'd be wondering, do we have to force into this scout? Like, not really connecting through the smoke, which is obviously not under his control ultimately.
Imagine if you had a P250 right now.
Well, let's see if the Counter-Strike Karma is going to come into play, as it often does. I feel like whenever you don't buy the fuse kit, that's exactly when you need one. So maybe something similar will apply here. Ricky has got a kill on automatic, and Ethan still putting out grenades. He gets the kill on nothing now. It's a 3 versus 2 here. Cutler's gone down, so is Ethan. And Costa next in line. Ricky, he picks up one, but Shroud is hiding back here.
Gotta get him, he's gotta go for it.
Stay alive. Yeah, he doesn't have a kit. He simply has to run in and get this kill. And Shroud trying to play wing around the Rosie. Ricky, I don't think he has it.
I've got no idea. I'm terrible with this.
This is unbelievably close. Ricky's made a run for it. He's out. I don't think he would have had it.
No, me either. What's the new mod they put in the game with the scouts and the jumping and the Hyven and the Glyven?
Oh yeah, yeah, Flying Scoutsman or whatever it was.
Looks like Ethan's been playing that.
Have you tried that mod?
Mate, I don't have a house or a computer, so I can't really play Counter-Strike.
Still paying taxes, as you pointed out.
Still paying taxes.
They're hard to dodge, taxes.
Yeah. Well, I could try. Without a home, I could just say, I'm a member of the world.
Yeah, where will you send the police?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
12-6, and the 19th round is coming up here. It is quite a fun game mode here. This is heartbreaking. I don't know if we could find a way to blame Kusta for not having a P250.
No. I was just being a salty idiot. That's really not a big issue at all. That situation got extremely close, which means they have to reinvest on this Cloud9 side. So, you know, a good eco in the scheme of things for CLG.
Sure. They are still doubling the round score of CLG here. Cloud9, they must be feeling fairly confident at the moment. Let's see if Kusta could do anything with the AWP. He is over towards the A side of the map, and they've left Ricky not entirely alone, I thought for a moment, but Cutler's here to help him out. And he's already ready to cancel the Molotov when it comes.
Well, the thing is, this is where we saw Rick have a lot of effect against Luminosity. Earlier in the day, he was getting a lot of multi-frags over towards his B site. But from where he's positioned right now, he's just moved into the site, so he's about to get some Molotovs coming his way.
Oh, here come the grenades. Cutler takes one and gets a quick triple. 2 last headshots and nothing, and Stewie are left. That's absolutely remarkable. Now, a bit of a slow down. Finesse continues the spray and takes down Stewie as well. What a clean round, and Cutler being just a teammate.
Where did FNS come from?
He went in through the vent as well, I think, didn't he?
Did he? I blinked and I missed it. I just saw him just weasel out of the smoke at top there, and a bit of a Houdini. That was huge by Cutler. He didn't mean to do that for anybody playing at home. He just held down the trigger and got a couple of headshots. That's
As you do.
nuts. Yeah, well, the headshot machine does. He doesn't hold down the trigger. He taps.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen Scream on that level. I want that back. Pretty dangerous, but we just talked about it. And it pops up. The tapping, and again, taking down nothing. Maybe Scream is like Candyman. You just have to say his name 3 times and it pops up.
You can see Ricky really embracing, you know, the crouch movement while having full accuracy right there. Shroud with a nice jiggle peek. Takes down Kusta.
That's unreasonable.
It's a huge shot, isn't it? Before he could even react.
Well, I mean, I don't even know how that's fully possible.
Ethan's been really good at anchoring this side, especially when executes have come in. And he's always very patient. It reminds me somewhat of Fugly, how he used to play this position. Would always play around those smokes, always playing that fence corner very well.
And in a round like this, it's so safe, right? They're not going to have Molotovs to burn him out or anything like that. So very hard for them to get the full angle on him without exposing themselves to truck and, well, not truck, but to fork and highway.
He just saw the barrel there of the gun, so he knows that they're coming. Flush to come in, he's going to grab one. The other's going to jump back into A-main.
Oh. He knows Skadoodle is there. He will win that fight and continues on to automatic. So all in all, just a fine job from Ethan in that round. 12-8. You're not a betting man, Chad, I feel like.
No.
But you still want to venture a guess? Who's got this? Like, they're 4 rounds apart. Where is this going to lean?
I've seen CLG falter when they get to that striking distance too many times to kind of back them. I need to see them break that if I wanted to go in with them. Cloud9 for me have, you know, the higher amount of star power to make random rounds happen. Like we saw with Skadoodle win that 4-on-1 situation on pistol round, which has so far given them the 3-0.
My God, what is happening? I can't explain to you. See, this is the problem here. Stewie tried for the body wall bang in T-spawn.
Yeah.
That delayed him enough that he got into it just when FNS is there. Is he channeling some sort of divine power that we just don't know about? Because if he hadn't done that and he just run to mid and tried to take that shot, then it would have been, like, I don't know, a full 10 seconds before FNS is there. Come on, man.
I don't even know like how to feel for FNS right now. That's just pure luck by Stewie. Obviously, it's to dissuade that. That's the whole point of that spam, is to stop people from pushing up in that way. But you never expect to get lucky in that kind of form. And
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Chad. To believe that that's luck, you had to believe that he just luckily picked that round. I'm saying I think there's more.
You think he's in the game?
Yeah, like in the Matrix, maybe.
Who are those long-haired dudes from the Matrix? There's 2 of them.
Oh, it's been too long since I've seen it. I wish I knew. I'm probably gonna lose some community standing for not remembering this. Stewie jumping up, and I have no idea how he lived. He probably obviously should have gone down. Kusta had the position and everything. This is it's kind of hard to watch. He had a bit of a moment where he cooled off, Stewie, but now
he's back.
He's right back into it.
The Stew factor in full effect right now. That's a round that he's got a random kill and then jumps. And that forces Kusta to somehow leg shot him. Now the hunt is on. Automatic already in the vent. He's going to have a fight against Rick. He's going to take him down with ease. And they're not going to let these CTs hold on to these weapons, are they?
No. Out in the open as well, Cutler. Ethan will get a chance to at least pick up 1 kill. But beyond that, he's now a very hunted man. 1 versus 4. And they don't have a really good reason not to try and take this gun away from him. Some spam is coming out through, but nobody connecting yet. This is a 13th round for Cloud9, and again off the back of Stewie, and they're actually wall banging him down. Shroud will find him. CLG, man, there's not much going their way at the moment.
Yeah, they're in trouble. If they have any pauses left, would be time for another one just to kind of settle in. You don't want to wait until next round to do it.
I think they are voting for it.
There we go.
So let me ask you about this, because now we do have the timeout in effect. I think could we talk about, you know, counting smokes and counting timing to figure out everything? I would like your opinion on this other thing. You're FNS in that position.
Yep.
You haven't really done anything wrong, but you just catch a bullet right through the smoke like that. How do you keep yourself in check so that your bad luck doesn't, you know, transfer into frustration for the rest of the team?
As the in-game leader, that's just one of the tasks you have to have, right? I think like that's something you always need to be able to hopefully let your teammates understand that is what happened. You don't want them to think that you overextended or died in any of those situations.
Right, so the call you'd make is to say,
He just got lucky.
He got lucky through the smoke.
Yeah, it's very frustrating, right? You're definitely going to be frustrated by it because what can you do in that situation? Like we said, he wasn't really doing anything wrong. He was trying to play close middle, and he was playing behind a smoke, and that kind of stuff can happen. But in terms of, you know, it's more about how the team would react to you giving away that first frag, being the in-game leader who's normally the weakest fragger. Aggression's going to come out on B. Ricky's going to take a bit of a duel early, do some damage, push Skadoodle back, and now they know they're on eco. So Cloud9 well and truly ready and poised to take this match.
Yes, and if they do, they would be facing up against Immortals, which is a very interesting game.
We could get through this entire event with 2-0s in the best of threes.
It's been the trend, you're right. We have not had a single third map yet. And Cloud9 look like a team that's well on their way to extending that kind of a record.
Yeah, for sure. I think if they take this one, they are looking better today. I'm seeing a bit more discipline. I'm not sure how the map pool really lines up for them against Immortals, but I think there was some stat that has come out. They haven't beaten them on LAN in the last year. So,
yeah, they beat them a bunch in online games, like quite a few, and then
I think they have the lion's share of the online games, right? So they've won more than they've lost against them online, but on LAN, it's just they just can't do it. They can't get across that line.
I mean, that makes that match even more interesting, in my opinion. Even more exciting.
More to play for, right?
Yeah. Got to try and change that around. A very different environment playing on LAN, obviously. Molotovs are out, and Kusta was either going to go one way or the other. He chose the quick one out, walking into that AWP from Skadoodle. He's ready here. Stewie takes down Ethan, and as we sort of suspected, this round just, you know, fading away for CLG. What else can they do?
Well, you know, they didn't really try any innovation. They didn't try and work together and have any setup where they could pause the fight. They were just happy to play their default positions and wait and hope the frags would come their way. Wasn't to be the case. Cloud9 played it very well, used their utility to flush them out of their positions and just pick up the frags as they came. So automatic on the lurk here. I do like to see it. He's one of those players that can be very dangerous when coming from behind.
Yeah, I think the combination, the matchup between him and Stewie is just so hard to deal with. I feel like automatic has just got a lot of different facets like that. Oh, he's trying for it. That's immensely close. Really almost hitting the headshot then. I mean, can you imagine the pain for CLG? They just lost the last round, or the one before that.
Yeah.
Because FNS walks into a shot for the smoke in middle, and if it had happened again, I don't know. They gotta be almost broken at this point. CLG. They know the way home here is a really long one. Nothing coming in. The perfect timing against Ethan, who did try and take a risk and see if he could get something done, and FNS wants to follow it up, but not going to be able to. And he's out in the open. Nothing just calls that in while the boost is happening on the other side, and FNS can't get out.
Yeah, he definitely has to follow it up, right? Because he needs to trade off the back of that aggression. If they were a little bit closer together, maybe he could have swung out while that fight was happening, but he's going to go down. 3-on-5 situation right now. Cloud9 can take the A-bomb site. Oh, Ricky, what?
He's got one. He really wants Skadoodle as well. He's already done a lot of damage, but they're just rotating to the other side of the map. That's already been checked out by Shroud. He's made his way out Squeak, so no chance at all here. Cloud9 really came to play today. I mean, we were talking about those tweets that they were making saying they would have no respect and they would just sort of, you know, make it work, and they seem to have followed through on that promise.
Yeah, I guess the term of no respect, it depends on how you look at it. The way I read it is by being fast and loose and trying to find openings and be aggressive in that regard. It seems like they have a system. It seems like they have a plan. They feel better / more prepared than they were yesterday when going up against Immortals. So I definitely wouldn't say in any means of the way I brand Counter-Strike they're being disrespectful or showing no respect.
No.
They're just playing confidently within their system and plan, which is great. It means that they know what they want to do.
Yeah, maybe the only one you could assign that to is someone like Stewie, right? Yeah. I think he was the one who tweeted it anyway, so maybe he was just talking about himself.
He's gone, well, I'm going to take this on myself to just be a nutter and open up bomb sites, get some crazy retakes. So the two guns that they hold on to, it's more like a consolation, right? I can't see them. I don't want to say it, Anders. CLG, they're on toast.
They are they're very near the end here. We do have a pause being called by CLG. They would need to win 7 rounds in a row here, which is doable, but not exactly easy. and that would just put them into overtime.
Yeah, you kind of, when you get in this position, just a feeling of darkness comes over you, because if you try and be aggressive like they just did before, they got punished for it, like really badly. If they try and just hold the bomb sites, they know they don't have the same amount of utility to be able to hold off the duels for as long as they can. I think the best bet is just to maybe try some mid-round aggression. Just do default at the start, make sure that Cloud9 aren't doing a rush. And once you know that's not the case, regroup as a team, maybe in a pack of 3, and try and take some map territory. That's your only hope, I think.
Well, Stewie's been channeling the Divine for a while now, and I think he's going to go for the body wall bang again. So, see, CLG, I mean, they've heard it a couple of times, so by now they should probably try and crouch in the middle. Oh, no, he's not. He's just going to make his radio. All right. Actually baiting me with that. That's
He's a bit
annoying.
of a troll.
Yeah, he's a bit of a troll. Instead, they're going to come charging into the middle, and Kusta won't know what hit him. Just no chance to get out. If he goes and hides in the corner, he's just going to get Molotov'd out, and there's not even anyone nearby that could have helped him. So what a rough way to lose the middle.
This is a really good change of pace, right? Like they've been doing more methodical plays. They've been taking territory, using Molotovs, and here they basically dry boost over middle, no smokes, no Molotovs to assist, and find that free frag onto Kusta, who wasn't ready for it. And once again, CLG, man disadvantage. So this feels like a whole new Cloud9 to me. I wouldn't be surprised if Automatic was calling again.
Certainly doing a remarkable job. Nothing picks up one, and Cutler, he's trapped in the corner, and they're coming in from every angle. A great job getting those 2 kills, but he needed another one to make it possible for his team here. Ethan got shot in the leg in main earlier, so it's just him and Finesse left, and I think they just spotted that one. Automatic knows that Ethan is in main, and if Finesse walking in there, he's essentially flanking the flank here, and I think that's probably game over. FNS goes down, Ethan in a 1-on-3 here. Cloud9 playing remarkably well, and they're going to need to continue this when they play Immortals in the next game. That's certainly a really hard team to play against, but this is terrific. What an excellent job for the American side.
And the 2 stars up the top for once. You know, we haven't seen that for these guys for the whole tournament so far. So a different look to Cloud9.
Yes.
And this is what we need for them. Like you said, going up against Immortals, I think there's a lot of positives to take from the pace that they address the game with, and I'm excited to see this grand final now.
Yeah, me too. This is just one hell of a game. I look forward to the analysis as well. We do have the panel ready, so Frodo, to you, James.
Thanks very much. 2-0 across the board so far in the last 4 days. Very respectable win there, guys, from Cloud9. The guys on the casting desk said it's almost like we're seeing a new Cloud9, potentially automatic casting, calling for them, maybe. Do you think, does it look like that way for you? No,
well, Stewie's calling right now. They had automatic calling for a little bit. I think he was just referring to that particular round where it seemed like they slowed things down. But no, I mean, this doesn't look like... Oh, my cable. I'm really bad at that. This
baseball bat.
Yeah, no, my... This Cloud9 doesn't seem too much different. Actually, this might sound a little crazy, but I was actually more impressed with CLG throughout this event than I was with Cloud9. I expect Cloud9 to be able to win this game. I haven't seen anything new out of them. That's where the disappointment comes in, because still, you know, they beat all the teams they should have beat at this event. They really haven't had a challenge in that sense. It's when they get up against Immortals, when they get up a team that can match the skill, that can slow them down, that does slow them down, where they don't have anything else to fall back on. That's where you start to feel really, really disappointed in Cloud9. So in terms of CLG in this match, it was just like the opposite of Inferno, right? Where CLG made Inferno look much closer because they had all those heroic plays. They had some of the big-time individual plays in the clutches. This time, it's Stewie making all the crazy plays. You know,
wow, not all.
Well, not every single one.
Got pretty nuts on the pistol
Skadoodle had
rounds.
a nice 1-on-4. So you add in all those things, and obviously that's going to be a win for Cloud9. But you know, in terms of what we've seen from CLG throughout this minor, it sucks they're not going to be at the major for them, obviously. But, you know, massive improvements as we've seen from them throughout this year since FNS came back, since they got this coach kind of underway, since they got Ricky. And yeah, I mean, Cloud9 still has a bunch of work, and actually it's quite frightening to me that they came into this event playing like this, because it just shows they haven't actually worked on fixing some of the issues they have. Like, when you get against the Tier 1 teams, this style's not going to fly. And the fact that they're still just running it because it works against the NA teams makes me feel like they're actually concentrating more on just winning in the short term than actually fixing a long-term issue.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good point, and it is kind of one of the things we always see in domestic tournaments for North America, is a whole different brand of Counter-Strike. Usually it's a diluted, sloppy one that doesn't have the type of tactical play that really would go against teams like SK. Oddly enough, we come from the NA region, but you know, teams like FaZe even to some extent, who will rip you apart with individual skill rather than tactical play. So both sides of the coin in that sense with SK and FaZe. And I really do think that, yeah, okay, great, they win this, and maybe they can bring the game just based on the fact that Stewie stepped up toward Immortals, but I agree, that's only one step toward the major, which has to be the ultimate goal.
Listen, this team is, what, since Automatic joined, it's what, right around a year, I think. Right around a year, it's, I think maybe just...
Yeah, no, that's probably right.
Something like that. Right around a year since he joined the team, so they've been together for a year. And they've had Stewie as the in-game leader for the majority of that. They tried Automatic for maybe like a month, maybe two. And you know what you're going to get from Stewie as an in-game leader. He doesn't want to play the tactical style. Everything is going to be based around his aggression. So obviously when he's on, it looks spectacular. And that's what we've seen in this event. When he's dominating someone, when he's having successes in his initial fight, it's going to look great. It's when he's getting shut down or he's not playing a good game is when it really starts to look ugly, really starts to look dire for this Cloud9 team. And the fact that they haven't addressed that problem. Like, you cannot just have your entire team's success based around one player, and it seems like they haven't learned that yet. And it's going to continue to be disappointing international results until they do, and until they put time into fixing it. And maybe that means having some upset losses to some North American squads in the meantime. But in terms of their long term, in terms of their ability to compete against the Europeans and the Tier 1 teams in this world, like, that needs to happen at some point.
Of course, we do have to say goodbye now to CLG. Matt, what can they take from this? Obviously, you said that
big improvement.
They've been quite impressive.
Yeah.
They've improved a lot, but what can they do to take it to the next level so that we can see them in a major? That's obviously where they'd want to.
Well, work on T-sides, obviously. The T-sides need quite a bit of work. They need to decide if they're going to be playing faster, they're going to be playing with more execution base. It seems like they're relying on a slow-paced default that doesn't really have a set plan. So they don't know where they're going when they get a pick or when they get a little bit of map control, and it gets very chaotic when they get close to bomb sites. I think they tidy that up, and they're going to be actually a much better team, but I have to say I am impressed. I figured they would get out of the group stages. I didn't know that they would beat Luminosity. I wasn't that certain, to be completely honest with you. So the fact that they did means they did better than I would have expected, and I'm encouraged. And I think Ethan is a player I hadn't seen a lot from. Today he was a little bit slower, but throughout the course of the week, I've warmed up to him. I'm definitely on board with him on that team.
Yeah, he's a good young talent. They look good overall. I think that, the T sides obviously are a big issue. The anti-ecos, the second rounds, they lost, I think, 5 this week. After winning the pistol, they lost 5 seconds rounds, something like that, 4 or 5. I think on top of that, you see some points where individual players make like unadvised overextensions, over-peaking in weird situations where they get picked off. That still bugs me a little bit. I put Ethan kind of as where I had Rush at the end of last year, right before E-League Season 2, where it was kind of like Optic was looking better and better, and it was like this team isn't going to compete on the world scale until Rush establishes himself consistently as one of the star players. Yep. And once he did that, they started, they won E-League Season 2, then they got second place at ECS, so they had a good run there. So Ethan's kind of in that very same, CLG needs that third star, and he needs to be it. And then on top of that, I'll just say that I think Kusta had actually a pretty disappointing tournament overall.
Today he was better.
Some great impact plays, some great impact rounds, some great performances in sketchy situations, but as a whole package.
Was it like a discipline thing? Is it like too much peaking, too much was there
in situations,
few failed decisions there?
Yes, and that's always been like one of the knocks on him as a player has been some poor decision making. But I mean, more just so we saw that round in B and Inferno where like the crazy shots. Those are always fun to watch, right? And they always make you say this guy's incredible. He's a god. But what you don't see is what we did see actually on stream is when he gets the jump on Stewie and A main on Cash and just legs him instead of kills him, or he misses the initial shot as Stewie comes into A main. Like those are the shots that I'd rather him be hitting those 90% of the time than having 1 out of 50 heroic 4-kill rounds inside the B bomb site. And that's what you kind of need as an opper. So still some growth there. They still have like a ceiling they can reach with this team.
Let's jump straight into the Mummy MVP for Cash.
Better be Stu.
Damn right. It's Skadoodle.
Hot damn.
Impact rating.
That's how the impact rating works, apparently.
He's back.
It's just that pistol round, I guess. Yeah, I would say Stewie was the MVP as well.
It's all the pistol round. Yeah, good, cool. Look at this. Look at cool. I had a whole thing on Stewie. No, but look at, the retake and post-plant kills. Obviously it gets boosted by 4 of them in the pistol.
Well, this, I think, is the way to weigh it out. He had 14 kills, 6, 8, 14, 15 of them were, how does that, what? My math's wrong. Sorry, hang on. Yeah, no. How does that make sense?
You've just done it, haven't you?
There's 15 kills shown. I guess one of them must be counted twice for clutch or trade.
Yeah,
yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, then that ruins my entire theory that They were all important.
It was nice, though. It was a good thought.
I was there with it, and then I was like, that's 15.
I liked it. Nothing makes sense anymore. It's the
Yeah, my
simulation,
mind just
Matthew.
got blown. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So I guess final thoughts then on this matchup before we move on into what is the grand final. Any
Grand
final
finale.
thoughts?
I don't. Well, Cloud9 hasn't beat Immortals in a series on LAN. What was it?
Yeah,
Lurpus tweeted out
Lurpus
there,
said
0-8.
1-8 online and 0-6
No,
on
they're
LAN.
8-2 online, 0-6. But some of those
Okay,
0-6s,
maybe that's
that's not maps. That's like series, right? So
Series.
some of them are I think 2 or 3 of them are BO3s, and that's 6 losses. Yeah, they have a tough road, and this is again where we're just going to see another situation where they're tested because Immortals showed yesterday they could shut down Stewie and Automatic, and they could put a halt to that aggression. So, what comes next?
What comes next is the grand final.
What comes next is a grand final, but I wanted to get your insight on this, Moses, is that Cloud9 and Immortals now are our 2 teams that we know are going through to the major qualifier. Do you want to sum up a little bit between both of those teams how you think they'll fare against a more international team set?
Yeah, Immortals is a squad that keeps surprising me. I still don't feel that great, but they keep doing well within the region. I still think that, I mean, much like other teams, that I think one thing I will say about Immortals that I saw at this event was with FNX going out and KNG coming in, one player who's really jumped up in his production has been Lucas, which is really cool to see. Bolts is back to being the in-game leader, which is nice. So they have some good impact players, and with KNG as another opper as well, it seems like sometimes he's taking it over Henny, which I personally like just because Henny's so up and down. I just mentioned with Alpers and like Kusta, I like the stable shots being hit more than I like the flashy plays. It's something that can be used in a little bit more of a tactical sense. So I think they're actually looking pretty good with this lineup as well for that. And then Cloud9, it's always a gamble, right? They're going to struggle against the international competition, especially if they come in with this pace. So it's just kind of up in the air, and it's a Swiss system as well. So I think it just matters who you get matched up again. It's just going to be very matchup dependent for both of the squads.
I think that Immortals could benefit as a team that could benefit, like you said, they're good domestically from a boot camp overseas. I think they've only done one before Katowice last year, even.
And they always perform well in Katowice. Maybe we should just have the qualifier in Katowice, and then all of a sudden, Henny's going to be dropping bombs. That'll be good stuff.
He's onto it.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
It's cracked the simulation.
Oh, don't tell Anders. He knows all about the simulation.
Anders was hoping to get offered the red pill, really, honestly. He wanted out. He wanted to go into the God status mode.
Anders is so high, it doesn't even matter, does it?
Doesn't matter at all.
Cool. So we move on now to the grand final. Thank you both for summing that up and giving us your insights. And that's it. Yeah, we're at the grand final. So we know who's going through to the major qualifier, but it's not quite over for these 2 teams, Cloud9 and Immortals, fighting it out for the best share of a $50,000 prize pool. Join us after the break for that grand final.